You're listening to Life Check Yourself with life coach, transformational leader, and dating and relationship badass, Marni Battista. Every week, you'll get the raw truth from top experts and real people on the important life and love issues you want to know about. So if you're ready to life check yourself in your relationships, your career, and the areas of your life that matter most to you, and you're not afraid to be called out on your stuff, then you're ready for what's next.
Life Check Yourself with Jamie. This mindset shift guarantees a great date. Ladies, oh my Lanta, as I like to say, you are going to be so inspired by my next guest, Jamie. I think Jamie is one of the clients that I found through social media, which was always really fun for me because I'm just sort of doing that in a new way. So you should follow me, which I'll tell you how later. But the minute I met her, she was like committed, ready to do the work, and she transformed inside of 16 weeks of working with me, like pretty much like unbelievable. And I'm so excited for you to hear this story. She is a really super experienced and accomplished leadership and well-being life coach, educator, trainer, consultant. She also has the esteemed position of the chair of the early childhood education program at a community college where she lives. And her passion is in supporting individuals in their journey towards leadership development and personal well-being in group settings and as individuals. And she helps her clients discover a life of fulfillment and purpose and just paying all of this forward. And I think, like, Jamie, I just want to start with, because I think this was like when we first got together, you were sort of like, it's all really great on the outside, but inside I am like melting, right? Like it looks good. You've got a great job. Like people in your career, like you've been doing it a while. Like people really look up to you. And there just felt like there was like something was out of sync. So we met, when was that? Like, I don't know, 4 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. Yeah.
Like 4.5 months. Yeah.
Yeah. So just what was it like and what were you thinking? What were your thoughts like? How did you feel? What was going on?
Yeah. I think the year before I'd done a big journey of self-reflection, done a lot of tools and kind of workshops and things. And I was like, okay, I feel like I've done it all. Like I'm ready. Like I can check all the boxes superficially and I'm like ready to go. And I think that was kind of our first conversation. And some of your podcasts are like your master classes are like, what's that 10% that's missing? And I was like, I feel like that's it. Like the outside, I have the most amazing life on the planet and with my kiddos and my world and my job and my just everything. So it was like, gosh, I'm so fulfilled, but I'm not. Like what is missing? And I knew it was wanting to have someone in my life for sure, but what was it that was holding me back? And like you would say, like what's like losing out or what's leaking that I maybe you didn't say this, like that I'm in denial about or not wanting to really admit was there. Like there was just like maybe the inside wasn't matching the outside.
Yeah. And I think that's such a huge thing. And I was talking to someone this morning who said, she shared it so readily. She was like, midlife is no joke because you like, you work really hard to get all that stuff, like pretty much the first half of your life. And you have a lot of identity in having that, but like not getting exactly what you want, right? And so being able to say like, I am awesome and also there's a next level or layer for me. What does that look like? I want to find it so I can have what it is that I want. So talk about like, how did that manifest? So if everything looked great on the outside, like what was it like inside Jamie's head?
Yeah, I think the word hiding comes up. Like, I think there were parts of me that I was hiding from myself and my truth. So how that came out is I wasn't really being true to myself. So I could talk the talk, but not really have that inside. So it felt kind of lonely inside. And I didn't have a lot of compassion inside for myself. So, so not super great self-talk going on. Maybe not speaking my truth to everyone out of fear of people pleasing. There's definitely some of that in there. and just lack of confidence, like confidence in area. Professionally, I 100% confident. That wasn't the thing. It was confidence in all the other areas of the life, and making up stories about, are people judging me based off of my perceived looks, or, different kinds of things that I made up stories. So it would come out in just not good energy, like it was just this down energy inside, but still keeping that facade on the outside.
Which is exhausting, right? Like, I remember when we first started working together, you were like, oh, I have to go to like a parent thing at your son's high school. And you're like, when we're in that thing, we're like, I'm the only single person, like, in this high school, and all the moms look at me and they go, oh, Jamie, right? Like, you had like a big thing, right? Like, about what people were thinking. And that feels really heavy, because it is a lot to then smile and be like, hi. Right. So so you came in, we really worked on dating, like sort of at the end, that was like, we launched, so we started working a little bit on your business that you're wanting to create. But let's just talk about dating first. So, because I think that you had such a clear, what's the right word, manifestation, or like a lot of your ability to articulate what was going on was so profound. And so I want to share it because I think lots of people have this. And it's the, I'm going to be positive. This was the old way. I'm going to be positive. And so I'm going to go out, and everywhere I go, like, is my guy here? Is he at the gas station? Is he at the market? Is he at the wine bar? Is he at the football field? Like, where, is he? And that felt like, so talk about that, because I think that is like this little whisper in our brain when we're single, that some of us, I wanted to share it because I think people go, oh my God, I do that, right? Like, so it's a lot and you don't even realize you're doing it. So can you share, like, what was that like? How did it feel? And how did you shift it?
Yes, it was this, if I just manifest it, it will come. And so it was like you said, I literally leave the house like, today's the day. Oh, maybe it's when I'm getting gas. Oh, and I wouldn't dress up. It was just like, oh, maybe when I pull over in this lane, someone's going to wave at me. Like, I just had this constant energy, so open and so ready. And it was kind of a pick me energy. It was like, universe, pick me. I'm ready. See, I'm ready. I've done all the things. And I'm here. But at the same time, it became like my total focus. And just this, I can't remember the words we talked about, but it was like this energy out that was just this force. It was like forcing it. It was like forcing the universe to make this happen, because I was telling it in a way, even though because I'd said maybe, I wasn't forcing it, but really I was. And so, and then what would happen is that when that didn't happen, the part I didn't want to admit to myself is in that letdown.
Right.
Because it's like, well, it didn't happen today. Well, there still must be something wrong with me. I haven't done all the things yet. It's not time. It's not ready yet. So that was going on for a long time. And then our talks talked about, that's kind of fairy tale thinking, right? Of like, oh, someday my prince will come. And that was the Cinderella song and that thinking. And so I also, through a lot of our talks, it was then this, like, there's just not enough guys out there. Like, it starts to go negative. Well, then there's just not enough, or it's just, I start going negative. So what really helped to change my mindset was that I'm going out in the world to have experiences and meet people. And that's it. That was like after the retreat. It was like, I am just going out to meet people, or I'm going out to learn this new dance move, or I'm going to do this. And so there was an objective about the experience, and nothing about, is there going to be a man there or not a man there, or is today the day or today is not the day? And I also had changed to more this abundance thinking of like, there are plenty of men out in the world. And I just started telling myself that multiple times a day. And then it shifted my mindset, and I just started to believe it. And now I know it. So it's not a wondering. I know it in my entire body that there's a plethora of men out there. But when I first started, I was like, no, there's none. there's none in this city. They're just it's terrible, and it's very negative.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, it's like I want to be in experiences where there's testosterone around, just so I can absorb that through osmosis, because I don't have men around to me.
Right. Your work with mostly women. Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of how that shifted.
I love that. You're like, my stinky teenage boy doesn't count, right?
No, he doesn't.
He does not count.
I get hot burrito every day. That's not the same.
I love that. Okay. So we put you sort of through the process, right? So when someone works with me, and Jamie worked with me one-on-one, but everyone who works with me goes through this process. And we did things like your non-negotiables and your profile and your photos. Can you just share like what transformed? Like how did that going through the process? Because we always say around here, you got to just trust the process. How did the process change you?
I think the module work that you have outlined, kind of the workbook module work, really helped me slow down. I'm a really fast processor, and I'm like, okay, I did it all. Okay, go. It should happen right now. So I'd say that process helped me slow down, do some internal, examination and about what things am I not being true to myself about, what things are still kind of icky, sticky in there. So that's kind of at that beginning of the process. And then having me stop dating for a good chunk to just really get that out of my mindset. So it was like, yes, I'm going to leave the door and not even think about the possibility of meeting someone and completely off the apps. That was like, I take a deep breath because I was like, oh, that felt kind of good to have permission to just do this behind the scenes work.
Yeah.
So that is, even though it was like, no, because what if I miss the opportunity?
Right.
I miss him. But that really helped slow things down. And then, doing having the photo shoot and just having someone give you positive feedback on this is what was great on your body type and size and style to, feel the best in yourself, and tons of compliments on my photos and just that experience. Because I get nervous taking pictures.
Yeah.
I can talk in front of hundreds of people, no problem at work. But if it's something else, I get pretty shy. So that was a huge deal for me to actually follow through and do that photo shoot. And we were outside where cars are driving by. It was like,
you're like, just me over here doing photos.
Yeah. So, so that was a huge growth of just challenging and out of my comfort zone. And I think the non-negotiables of really what are the things that I will not negotiate no matter what at any, point, and just feel so strong and solid in those, just helped me ground up who I am. And I think that gave confidence. And it's like, no, this isn't even up for discussion. And friends could be like, oh, your expectations are too high. No, they're not. They're not. And I feel true and solid about those as well. Writing the profile, I think, was just the icing on the cake, because it's talking about manifestation. It manifests, this is my story. This is my story with my person, and I can see it and feel it, and it's embodied, and it's this is what I know my story is going to be. So parts of it, I just think about now, I'm like, oh yes, that's happening. It's not, but it is. It's already just living it and living the feelings in it. And so that worry or stress is if I'm not going to find my person, that's not there anymore, just because I know. Yeah. And you're slow, go slow to go fast. That's Jamie needs to go slow to go fast.
I love that.
I'm so antsy at times, but
well, we want what we want. Okay. I have two key moments that I think I want to have you share, because I think people can really learn a lot from them. Mm-hmm. One was the guy. So let me just tell you what happened, everyone. So we coached, we did a lot of internal work. She got all her stuff ready, worked with our stylist, did the photos, launched. Actually, so now there's three things. So you launched, and you went out with a guy, and it wasn't great, and you kind of didn't want to go out with him again, and he kissed you. And you were like, I don't know if I want to go out with him again. That kiss was so awkward. But it was great because it actually taught you something about yourself. And you reached out to him and you had a whole conversation. So can you just tell everyone about that? Because I think that's something that people just that was the thing. They toss it away. They don't go out with them. It's, it leaves your mind rather than like actually having it be a key point.
Yeah. Well, this was the realization that I found myself making guys really comfortable on dates and not, again, being my true self. So yeah, so this huge learning in this one date of a day is that I find I didn't want to be like the chatty, talky one. And so I would ask a lot of questions. I make people feel really comfortable. It's part of my work that I do. And so in that, for some, that was an invitation of like, oh gosh, look, she's so into me because she's asking me all these questions. And so what I learned though, when I was sitting on this date is that, okay, he hasn't asked me one question about myself. I haven't said one thing about myself yet, really, but, oh, I want to be nice. I don't want to be overbearing. And so I was almost had this facade going on of who I thought I was supposed to be during that date. And then went to kiss me. I was like, oh, heck no. Like I dodged, like I dodged my head back. And then, talking to you, I was like, oh, I don't know. Like I feel like I wasn't being honest, right? Like I was sitting there not speaking my truth. And so that was, with your help, like helped me like figure out, okay, how to communicate back to him that, to kind of apologize for the weirdness of the kiss and to own my part that I realized, I wasn't sharing some of my truth while we were on this date. And I take full responsibility that I asked you a lot of questions, didn't share things about myself. And so kind of made it one-sided and, apologized for that. So it was really a life lesson of how important it is to be true and speak my truth, even if it means this is an uncomfortable date and saying the hard thing. Is that what you're...
Yeah, and he was so gracious about it. And I think the thing that you and I talked about is that, and because so many ladies will say, guys never ask me questions. And so what I said to you is like, well, if your whole energy is like, I'm going to make you comfortable, like, you're in a job interview and I want to make sure you like working here and I'm going to ask you questions. It can be a very unconscious love shield. It's like, well, then I don't have to open up. I don't have to like be in a moment where I give you space to ask about me. And then I don't have to share who I am because I'm just doing all the talking. And I'm pointing this out to our listeners because it's so subtle, but so profound. Instead of saying blanket, like guys, are self-centered and they don't ask about me. Maybe that's part of your love shield. Okay, so that guy, you went on it. So you did end up going on a second date. He wasn't your guy. No, thank you. And it ended politely and kindly. Yeah. Good dating karma, right?
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And then like a week passed and then you were like, okay, I don't have a boyfriend yet. And that again, normal, right? Like very normal. So, because that's what ladies do. They're like, and January 1st is coming. If you're listening to this when it comes out and you're like, all right, I'm going to start over. And then it's January 7th and you're like, this sucks. Never mind. So, talk about how did you realize that and how did you shift out of that? Because I think that became like the total next step into your power.
Yeah. I feel like in dating, like one day in dating world, it's like dog years. I feel like one day in dating world is real. It feels like 7 days. And like dating days are 7 days where real life is one day. So I think that's also what would happen. It's like, oh, well, I've had these great conversations and I've liked these people and they haven't liked me back. And then when I go back and look, it literally was like 2 days. But in my dating brain, it felt like a week that I heard back from someone. And it's that antsiness and that excitement of like, well, they're not going fast enough. They must not like me. So again, kind of making those stories. And so what I started to do was I sit back and look at that objectively and say, it's only been 1 or 2 or 3 days and stop putting meaning on it, right? Because I was then making up stories behind like, what's their scenario, why they have or haven't communicated with me, or I'm making snap judgments about them because of what I think they are or are not doing or should not doing. So I think that was a lot of it is just sitting back and having more of this perspective of like, it will happen when it's supposed to happen. Trust the process.
Right. Trust the process.
Trust the process. Do the steps to reach out to different guys and they reply, they don't. then they're not my person. Like you said, people will what's the word you use? Like they excuse themselves, or
they roll themselves
out. And so it was really like they're ruling themselves out. Like, this is okay. This is no negative reflection of me. This is nothing negative. This is just part of the growth and the process. And I journal after every date, and what I learned about myself after every date, and what I learned about this person, or what I learned from them on that date. So it was like, this is the process. I'm supposed to be learning every time I talk to someone and every time I go on a date, whether it's positive or negative, there's learning and growth. So that really changed it too, that it wasn't, like you could see, it's not a marathon. Like, my goal wasn't to go out and find my person. My goal is to find out about myself and to learn more about this human being, and then see what happens.
Just feel like, and then remember the other thing, and like, I'm out here having experiences, right? So ladies, you're listening, you can see how this stacks. You're having a very different energy. It's not like I gotta run 26.2 miles and not stop. Okay, so the other really important moment for you, and I think this is huge for people who believe their mistake is that they believe in the possibility and potential of someone. And you had one guy who you were really excited about.
Yeah.
So tell the story about like what old Jamie would have done in that Seattle guy, and what new Jamie did, and how that made you feel. Because this is like, listen, ladies, this is like a power move.
So we lived in 2 different cities, and we hit it off right away, and we did a lot of FaceTime, and this was in a short amount of time. So within like 7 or 8 days, we had probably FaceTime like an hour or 2 a day. Just like, I'd be like out on a walk and we'd be FaceTiming. So it was just any of these kind of spare times. And we connected. So, I mean, like, all the boxes are checked, all the things, just laughter, cry, like just so good. And then there was one random conversation where he made a comment like, well, no, because because I'm not looking for anyone. And I was like, reverse, because on the app, he said, looking for serious relationship, or whatever that box is. So I was like, reverse, come backwards. And I said, oh, can we revisit that? Because I'm a little confused. We've been talking for a week. Seems like progressing in a relationship. We had plans to meet in person because we're in different cities. And he, and long story short, ended up saying that he's not looking for a relationship, but he's open to a relationship. It was just kind of a lot of circle talk. And I have this list of non-negotiables, and also new confident Jamie had a harder conversation with him. So old Jamie would have probably been like, oh, well, that's okay. I'll just wait until he's ready. Or
right,
what could I do to pretzel myself to hurry and make him ready? Or put it on myself. Well, there's something about me that's not good enough to make him flip the switch and be like, oh, you're the one, and like, pick me. So,
right.
Pick me. So I think that's old Jamie would have just like said stories and kind of gone along and settled, and not really feeling full or fulfilled because this thing was missing. So what I ended up doing is had a conversation that pretty much said, well, I am looking for my person, and I am serious about dating, and I'm feeling a little bummed because integrity is a really big value of mine and kind of my non-negotiable, and it feels seems like your words aren't matching your actions. So you said this on the match, and your actions are showing we are going for this relationship, and then now you're telling me, no, you're not looking. So for me, then I think we're done because you're not at the place that I'm at. And I think I asked him, like, where's your trajectory? Like, where's your dating trajectory? I need some clarification. And he's like, I'm not on a rocket. And I was like, well, I'm not on a rocket, but I'm definitely on the train track that's going to seriously run.
Exactly.
And he wasn't. And so I was really sad. I mean, really sad. It was a good tears for a good, half of a day or more, crying a little bit, just processing it, because it was just such a shocked letdown.
Yeah.
So, but it was also like, this is the right thing to do because I know my value and I know my worth. And he was kind of getting his cake and eating it too, because he's getting all the great parts of Jamie without having to do like kind of the real work. So
I call that girlfriend privileges without taking girlfriend responsibility. And so, yeah.
yeah,
And I think that's like a game changer, because it basically heals the parts of you that, didn't set boundaries, that couldn't trust yourself, and you're showing yourself, right? Like, oh no, wait, I got you, girl. And then that helps you sort of like become more of your adult self when you're dating, rather than operating from those old unmet needs. And so I thought that was just amazing. And I know you were so sad, but because again, stacking, like, I'm in experiences, everything I'm learning, saying yes, saying no. So why don't you tell everyone sort of like where you are now? Because, you kept dating, you've dated a lot of people, you were very excited. I mean, now keep in the context, ladies, this is all within 16 weeks. So like a few weeks ago, you're like, I'm dating all these guys and now there's 2 that I really like. Marni, how do I pick? And you're like, there's so many great guys. What do I do? So kind of, can you talk about that process and where you are now?
yeah. So
What I told you.
yes. So really with that abundance mind shift, because I would say at the beginning, like, yes, there were some guides, but I wasn't super excited. And then I had that mind shift of like abundance. It literally was this abundance mindset shift, and literally right in met. Like, it was just, I couldn't keep up with the texts and I didn't have enough free time. So, and it seemed like great guys. So yeah, 2 front runners and both very different. And then still texting a couple on the side. And to just keep the process going. And yeah, and just started to kind of connect and feel some feels for both of these. And one of the things that I reached out was like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to date 2 people like going on the train track and having these parallel train tracks happening. And what do I do? And of course, it only been like 3.5 weeks or something. And so that's part of me like jumping ahead.
Right.
Of, oh, should we be exclusive? And, doing that process. And so again, it goes back to slow down and go slow to go fast. It's a marathon. What am I learning? And I think back to your words too, like, it takes at least 3 months to really even start to see the real person and to see I really am with that person, because then our value goes down more and more. So there were 2, so I've had in-person dates, and then the one, it just didn't work out for some other kind of family situation. Things didn't happen. And so then right now, yes, the front runner, we're going on a date tonight, and we text a lot and FaceTime and lots of laugh, and we'll see. So I'm definitely not like future thinking really with anyone. It's really just, is this enough for a next date? What could be for a next date? What comes next? And I'm just looking at what is next, and just meeting great people and practicing to be my true self, true Jamie, true essence, and just share who I am wholeheartedly. So
I love that
path.
And I think even with the other front runner guy, like the other one that you really like, you're like, you're great, but like there's a situation in your situation that doesn't align with me. And again, keep in mind, ladies, like it's always easy for all of you to say no when you're like, they're okay. But when you really are like, you were getting feels for this guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it really does take dating from a place of empowerment and abundance and patience to just say like, you're great, but like, this isn't for me right now, And when you do the process that we teach, literally it's like a marketing funnel, right? You're just like, okay, like we talked before the show and you're like, yeah, I'm not ready to get exclusive with this guy. So I'm going to keep filling the funnel because I can, and it's fun.
Yes. And I will say there was one date, one of my also big learning I want to share is that I was on a date and I knew it would not go past this date. And I'd never been able to do this before. And I was sitting there and I said to myself, this will not be a second date. And this is not fair for him to walk away thinking there will be a second date because I'm being like a chicken and I'll just text later or talk over the phone because I'm too chicken to say it face to face. So I had that conversation. I just said, I've so enjoyed getting to know you. And I don't see it as a match going forward. And I wanted to tell you before we ended our date. And that was huge growth for me to be that true and honest. And it was more about him than about me, because what a disservice to lead someone on in some way where he walks away thinking that, oh, right, we're going to have a second date, or for him to ask me and then I say no. So that was for me.
That's huge.
It's huge to feel really brave. Yeah.
Yeah, because so many, I talked to a lot of single women, right? A lot of people don't even date because they don't want to have to do that.
Right.
Like I just can't do that and it'll be too much and I'm an empath and so, I can't. So, you literally, I was watching a CNN documentary on the 70s and there used to be this TV show and it was called like Battle of the Stars. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Or like Battle of the Network Stars and all these TV, and they were showing clips from it and it was like, knock down the thing, run around the tube, crawl through the net. It's like, Jamie's been doing that every date and just like coming out like, yeah. So awesome. I'm so excited for you. So if you were going to sort of like give a tip based on like what you know now for people who are listening, about like, what is the difference when you date with intention, when you date with help, when you date with a coach, when you look at the process in a new way, like, what did you learn? What do you want people to know about that?
I think the biggest piece was the front work. It's not the dating per se, because out of the 16 weeks, it's only been like 4 or 5 that I've been dating.
Right.
Like maybe 6 weeks. So like 10 of the weeks was all my internal stuff.
Yeah.
So I think leading up to that and having you as a coach is really around self-compassion and accepting the negative feelings and thoughts and the good ones, and that they're both okay and that they're both true.
Yeah.
To have you as a coach and the community normalizes it. So I don't feel alone or in my head or no one else, because I don't have other girlfriends that are dating at this age. So it's a whole new world out there right now for all of that. So to have that support system, I think was the biggest piece. But really for me to get to the place of dating and to be confident was to have self-acceptance, self-compassion. The people-pleasing is gone. The worrying about what people think about me is gone, which was also true with dating, because then I would worry what they were thinking about me. That doesn't even cross my mind. That's gone. Just the confidence and like just like love and essence from my heart of just who I truly am, and just show up with that every day was the biggest amount of work and growth. And so that led up to now I am now for dating. And so that I think is the most important piece that got me to where I am right now.
I love that. And I just did another episode with another client who's been achieving a lot of success. And so I, in the last 6 months, I started doing these documents for all my clients where we set goals and then we kind of go back and we're like, okay, what are you doing to achieve those goals? And I pretty much almost everyone I worked with one-on-one honestly has achieved their goals. But like you go back and you look at that document, and I know we were talking about it and you were like, I can't even believe I thought that. Like how, right? Like, right? Yeah. Like I thought that way. That's crazy. Because the transformation is so authentic. It's so real. You're not like white knuckling it, right? It's just, you just smash those goals. So like freaking thumbs up.
Thank you for all your help. Yeah, I know. I'm just looking at them and it's like, yeah, done. That's like, gosh, that seems so like immature. Like,
oh, then, and by the way, you ended up giving a big speaking engagement, and we talked about like your PowerPoints for your program and your presentation and getting some clients from that. And so we've been doing a lot over in Jamie Land, and it's been a total blast working with you. So I really, really appreciate you sharing your story. Like I said, I've been doing this for so long, and there's so many times where I will send someone an episode of this show with someone who has been really courageous and been very open and vulnerable about their transformation, that it really does pay forward. So I just want you to know you're part of that ripple effect. So there's some girl right now driving in a car going, damn, I need to break up with that guy who said he's not looking for a relationship.
Yeah.
I'm at Jamie.
Pull a Jamie.
Pull a Jamie. We're going to name it Pull a Jamie. Ladies, so much here to review as you go through and life check yourself. Make sure if there's someone that you think in your life would benefit from this episode, share it with them. You can always get more episodes on our YouTube channel, which is Life Check Yourself, plus some other videos where I go into some teaching of concepts that Jamie and I have been talking about today. Also, you can find me on Instagram, Marni Battista _. Lots of great reels there and content. And of course, where the old people go, Facebook, I'm there. Marni Battista. Jamie, again, thank you so much. And ladies, whatever you do, don't forget, it's your responsibility to life check yourself. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now. Hey, thanks for tuning into today's show. So if being in an intimate relationship in which you feel 100% seen, heard, and accepted by a high caliber man is a priority for you right now, and you're interested in seeing if you're a fit for working with me and my team at Dating with Dignity, here's what I want you to do. Just head over to DWD VIP, that's D as in dating, W, D as in dating, VIP.com, and book a call to speak with my team. We'll get on the phone with you for about 60 minutes, and you'll get crystal clear on what's stopping you from finding true love right now. We'll also take a look at what you want to create, what you want your whole life to look like when you're able to finally be fully expressed as a woman in a healthy relationship with an incredible guy. And if we can help you get from where you are right now to where you want to be, we will show you the fastest path possible that makes sense for you to do that. We help smart, successful women all over the world solve this one missing piece in their life so they can finally have it all. So to see if we can help you do the same thing, head over to DWDVIP.com. I'm Marni Battista, and let's talk soon.